Good morning. This morning we're going to start in Luke chapter 1, verse 8. So it was that while he was serving, meaning Zacharias, as priest before God in the order of his own division, according to the custom of the priesthood, his lot fell to burn incense when he went into the temple of the Lord. And so when we're talking about Zacharias here, we're seeing that Zacharias is receiving a lot of instruction and a lot of miracles from God. And the first miracle, we're just going to talk about 4 of them this morning, but the first one that he received was that his lot was drawn to burn the incense in the temple, which means there was 18,000 priests that was possible to go in there this day, but God had a purpose and a plan for Zacharias. And so in that purpose and plan, the first miracle that takes place is that Zacharias' lot is drawn and he goes into the temple. The next thing that happens is in verse 11, then an angel of the Lord appeared to him standing on the right side of the altar of incense. And so now we see that Zacharias is inside the temple, and then all of a sudden an angel appears standing next to him to give him a word. And I was just telling my friend John Thompson this weekend about when we went to the Passion Play. One of my favorite things about seeing the Passion Play was when Jesus would appear. They had the disciples and they were up in the upper room, and they were. It was after Christ had been crucified, and they were kind of down and distraught. And all of a sudden, here comes the Lord, and He appears right before them. And always when I think about appearing, I always think of it like you don't see me, now you do. But the way that they did it was so cool. It was like he just out of thin air, he just manifested his presence. Can you imagine like driving down the street and you're in your car by yourself, and then all of a sudden next to you appears an angel of the Lord, or appears the Lord himself. And so here Zacharias is in the temple and he's working and he's doing things, and then all of a sudden the angel of the Lord appears. Now you would think when the angel of the Lord came and he appears like this, that he gives this word to Zacharias, that you would think Zacharias would be like, wow, the angel of the Lord appeared to me, and these great things are going to happen to me. But no, what does he say? Well, how's this going to happen? I'm too old and it's not possible. First thing he does is he falls back into the flesh and he looks at his body. How many of you today would love for the angel of the Lord to stand next to you and say, you've been praying. How many years had Zacharias been praying? Like 80 years for this miracle? You've been praying for 80 years for this miracle, and today God's going to answer your miracle. And I'm going to say that for you today. I don't know how long you've been praying or what kind of miracle you've been believing for, but I am going to say that today God's going to answer that miracle. And in this case, he didn't stop there. Let's see what else the Lord did. When we go on to verse 20, but behold, you will be mute and not able to speak until the day these things take place, because you did not believe my words, which will be fulfilled in their own time. And so here we see, and we all know, that Zacharias' voice was taken away from him because he did not believe. I was just thinking how powerful a voice. Sometimes God has to get us out of the way so that he can do what he wants to do. We're so busy trying to help God be God that sometimes we just need to take a step back and let God be God. And I was just thinking, we even have a show today. It's called The Voice, where people are singing and doing these beautiful words of music and competition, and everybody's trying to find out who's got the voice or the best voice. I was thinking, like Paul, when they were shipwrecked one time, they had to send out the sounds so that they would hit and bounce off the island and come back, because they were in the dark and they were lost and they were trying to find their way as they were navigating. And when those sound waves went out and they hit that land, they came back to the ship. So it said to them, you're close to an island, you're about to come on shore. And that's what our voice does. We proclaim with our voice, we speak with our voice, and when our voice goes forth, there's miracles that comes from our voice. And so the angel of the Lord had to say, hey, Zacharias, I'm going to hold your voice until you're ready to speak the right thing. Okay? And then the fourth miracle that we see that takes place in just a short amount of time, verse 24, Now, after those days, his wife Elizabeth conceived. Hallelujah. We see here after all this time that his wife conceives and she has this child and she's given this great gift. And today I say to you, whatever that gift is that you've been asking the Lord for, that God's more than enough to reach down from heaven. I don't care how long you've been praying. I don't care how long you've been asking. I don't care if you asked the right way. I don't care if you asked the wrong way. If you were just operating in faith and just a little bit of faith, I know that God's more than able to hear that. And the other thing is, just remember, it's in God's perfect timing. Your miracle comes not when we think it's time, but in God's perfect timing. And when God's perfect timing comes into your life, his miracles will be manifested and you'll rejoice because you'll know that God is with you. God bless you. You have a great day today. Bye-bye.